Okay, we are recording, so welcome in everyone. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to get this started right away. Welcome to Introduction to Mindfulness. This course provides an in-depth introduction to the foundations of mindfulness meditation practice in an easy to follow 14-step process or training that I'll be going through. Now, this is not going to be once a week for 14 weeks. This will be done randomly with a couple of 2-3 times a week, however it works into the schedule. And we'll invite you in live, or you can just participate by receiving and participating in the instruction and the meditations that are given in each email that I'll be sending out. With the power of mindfulness meditation, you'll learn how to manage your stress and anxiety and cultivate more joy, happiness, and gratitude. Now, this course focuses specifically on the practical implementation of mindfulness meditation rather than just a conceptual understanding. So whether you're a beginner just starting out or already on a practitioner, an advanced practitioner, let's say, or if you're just interested in building a strong foundation of how to practice mindful meditation using an approach that is based on science and reason, then you're in the right place. And this course that I'll be sharing is for you. Now, upon completion of this, and it's really important that you participate, upon completion of this, you'll be able to confidently practice mindfulness in any situation. You'll master the key concepts and practices of mindfulness meditation. You'll identify and overcome the 5 most common obstacles in meditation. You'll release stress and anxiety from the body using the mindful body scan technique. You'll feel more at peace, even in high stress situations. You'll easily sit in meditation for long periods without feeling anxiety or restlessness. You'll feel connected to the present moment more frequently throughout the day. You'll have an increased sense of self-worth and self-confidence. You'll finish meditation sessions feeling more calm and more relaxed. You'll bounce back from anxiety attacks and emotional difficulties more quickly than you ever did before. And you'll develop a consistent meditation habit that feels joyful and is sustainable. Okay, what I want to do is share a little video, a short video on what meditation does and what is going on in our brain when we do, in fact, meditate. So let me find it here, and we're going to go right over to it here quickly. And let me start this.
Meditation is an ancient technique that trains the brain through the power of concentration. It's like a gym workout for your brain. Archaeologists have found meditation to be 5,500 years old, while only 60 years ago, modern scientists began to study the brains of meditators. They discovered that meditation changes the structure of the brain, making it a lot more powerful. Long-term meditators are often able to develop superhuman abilities like the ability to stay calm in pressure situations such as exams and sport, more original and creative ideas, and excellent memory. An experiment showed that meditating monks were able to dry icy wet sheets in a cold temperature by controlling and raising their own body temperature with the power of the mind. To understand how meditation affects us, we must first look at the most recent discoveries about the brain. In the last 10 years, scientists have discovered that every time we think, feel, or learn something new, a neural connection appears in our brain. Those things that we repeat the most, like a habit, make these connections grow stronger and stronger. And over time, the connections that we don't use grow weaker and eventually disappear. This is why our habits are automatic and we don't have to think before doing them. For example, because you practice brushing your teeth every day, it seems a lot more effortless than washing your dishes after you have eaten, even though both tasks take about the same amount of time to complete. But if you stop brushing your teeth for a few days, it will also begin to seem like a more difficult task. Some neuroscientists have suggested that we don't choose most of our behavior. Instead, it is programmed by these neural connections in our brain. Think about the tip of an iceberg, which is the smallest part. This represents all the things that we can choose consciously, such as solving a maths problem. The larger part of the iceberg is all of our unconscious thoughts and feelings, which cause most of our behavior, like reacting to arguments in the same way again and again, even if afterwards we know it was wrong. This happens because we are not aware that we are controlled by our unconscious emotions. In this unconscious part of our mind, neural connections are strong, so most people don't think they can change how they act and react in situations. This automatic way of acting is what we call personality. But mostly it's just those thoughts, emotions and habits that we have repeated the most growing up and continue to repeat on a daily basis. But this can all be changed. Our intelligence, skills and personality can all be developed through practice. We can literally train our brains to become cleverer, to learn a new talent, or to think differently in situations. So to change ourselves, we need to change our brains by creating new connections and practicing them until they become strong and automatic. This means that stuff that we find hard now will become easier and easier the more we practice it. Think back to when you struggled to read. It would take you a while to get through a sentence, and now it's automatic. You don't need to stop and think about how to read words you already know. You just do it. Amazingly, meditation practice helps us change all of those things by creating new connections in many different parts of the brain, literally making your brain larger in size. So, how do you practice meditation? Well, it's really simple. All you have to do is concentrate on your breathing and allow thoughts and feelings to come and go. With continuous practice, your skills of attention, concentration, and awareness significantly increase. But it's actually quite hard to concentrate on your breath and nothing else. This is because on average, we have about 50,000 thoughts each day. 98% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as we had yesterday, and 80% of those thoughts are negative. Stress, worry, and irritability is a direct result of those thoughts, which are either regrets about the past, which we can no longer change, or worry about the future, which hasn't even yet happened, but we experience stress and worry in the present moment, causing us to behave in very unhelpful ways. The more we worry, the better we become at worrying, which is a negative habit. Overthinking leads to continuous stress, and continuous stress leads to mental health issues such as anxiety and depression. Meditation has been shown to decrease the size of the amygdala, which is the fear center of our brain, and this is where all our negative emotions and thoughts come from. It also decreases the level of stress hormone, cortisol, which overall means that you can deal with stressful situations a lot better. During meditation, you also learn the skill of how to watch your thoughts and emotions without reacting to them. This means that with continuous meditation practice, you can significantly change your behavior and even your personality. This can help you to achieve your personal goals because you're less likely to procrastinate or worry about other people's opinions about you. Scientists are still discovering all the other benefits of meditation, such as its ability to make you more creative, better at learning and remembering things, increasing self-confidence, and making you kinder towards other people around you. Leaders of big companies, athletes, and even pop stars use meditation as a way of training their minds. And the NHS now use meditation to treat a variety of mental health issues. It's even been shown that meditation is more effective than using drugs. Not bad, hey? For saying all you need to do is sit still for 20 minutes, close your eyes, and concentrate.
All right. Well, let's continue on here. Find my place again. Let's talk about how to sit in a meditation. No, you know what? Let me back up the truck a little bit because I want to talk about the mindfulness exercises that we'll be getting into and that I will be sharing with you. So I really want to talk about how to get the most out of this course. So welcome in again. Learning meditation is one of the most powerful and impactful things you can do for your own personal mental health and well-being. So I'm glad you signed up and I'm glad you're getting started. I'm excited that you're getting started. I'm even glad for those of you that didn't sign up and I signed up anyway. So thanks for hanging in here this far and looking in. Before we jump into the meditation practices, I want to make sure that you get the most out of this course. So I'll be describing right now the 5 keys to success, to your success throughout this program. Number 1 is do the guided meditations. I'll be sharing them within these videos that you get. I'll also be sending some ones that have been recorded, perhaps even by others, some that maybe I record myself, but do them, do the guided meditations. They have everything you need. Everything that I send out, all the videos and everything that's within this has everything you need in order to learn the fundamentals. So all you need to do is follow along with the guided meditations. And I really can't stress this enough. You can't learn how to do mindfulness by simply reading a book or watching a YouTube video. In order to learn the skill, and it is a skill, the skill of mindfulness, you just have to do the practices. All right, number 2, focus on doing just a little bit each day. Now, there's going to be at least 14 entries in this course that I have put together and that I'm sending out to you. And there's going to be additional material that's emailed, that's shared in the Facebook group and put in other places and on the website. So each day there's a new section, not necessarily each day, but every few days there'll be a new section and new material. So rather than doing it all at once and just jamming everything into this in one long video, I'm breaking it up. So I want you to do the same thing. This one that you're watching now is probably going to be the longest one because it's laying the groundwork. It's laying the fundamentals for moving into this practice and these exercises and all that we do in establishing a mindfulness foundation practice, okay? So if you need to spend more time on one of any of the particular lessons that I send out, just do it. Number 3 is to aim for consistency. So if you're able to do the practices at the same time each day, that would be ideal. So that can either be in the morning, just after you wake up, or maybe in the evening, just before you go to bed. It really is different for each person. It's just finding what works for your schedule and then seeing if you can stick to it and be consistent each day. If you miss a day, don't worry about it. Just get right back and on track the next day. Number 4, bring your practices into your daily life. Bring the practices into your daily life. Learning to meditate is really about how we bring what we learn on the meditation cushion or in the chair or on the mat into our daily life. So it's about how we're relating to the world and how we can have a better relationship to what happens in our life. So as much as you can, see if you can apply the practices from this course to your daily life. And finally, number 5, have fun. Don't take this course too seriously. Really use this course as a playground or as an exploration for getting to know yourself. So those are my 5 keys to success in the course. And before moving on, I want to also share a little bit about getting those mindfulness worksheets. I have so many now built up to share with you. And this just enhances our mindfulness practice. Now, let's make sure that you know that mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment without judgment. Okay, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that today as we go forward. But in these mindfulness worksheets that you'll be getting, it will take you deeper into your practice and get you thinking in a certain way as we move forward. So the first one that you're going to get that's in the email that's going out, has gone out, or is with this video, however you're getting this now, is called Letting Go of Limiting Stories. I love this particular one. These aren't real long. Some of them are one-page sheets. Some of them are longer. Some of them are 3 to 5 pages. They're all different, but I think you'll really enjoy them. This one is about letting go of limiting stories. You know, the stories we tell ourselves, which are so often ingrained in our subconscious that we aren't even fully aware of how they influence our lives. These narratives tell the story of the world according to our perception of it. And quite often they limit what is possible for us. What would it be like to soften and release some of these stories? What new possibilities would open up if we explore this? So this practice, working with these worksheets, and this particular worksheet is an invitation to do just that. Now note that as you go through this practice, you are in full control. There is nothing you need to release here. Instead, curiously and compassionately explore what within you is yearning to be let go, even if it's only for this moment. So open the worksheets, print them out, or look at them online and find yourself a notebook or something like that, but do them. You'll be glad that you did. Okay, now let us get to the next part, which is how do we sit in meditation? And that's a question that always comes up. And I just want to go over that in some of the most common questions that I get from beginning meditators. And that's the question, again, is how to sit. Is there a correct posture is another question for meditation. Now, from society and from movies, we get a lot of different images, right? Get a lot of images of what a good meditator looks like and what they're doing. And usually when we see it in the movies, they're doing some kind of funky yoga pose and full lotus postures and all this kind of stuff. But I'm here to tell you that you don't have to do any funky yoga positions to practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is really more about something we're doing with our mind than something we're doing with our body. So you can really do mindfulness in any position, whether you're sitting, whether you're standing, Even walking, we'll do some mindfulness walking, or even lying down. Even when you're chopping vegetables or brushing your teeth or driving the car for that matter. So in terms of how to sit, really just finding a comfortable place to sit. And then once you're sitting, one of the important things is to just keep a straight back. So one of the ways to do this is just to lengthen the spine a bit, but we don't want to be too erect, right? You'll see people meditating and they're really stiff like this. So instead, we want to be relaxed at the same time. A good way to remember this is just to remember the phrase alert yet relax. So we can lengthen the spine and be alert, but then we can relax the shoulders to be relaxed. And in this way, we can have a nice, stable posture. Of course, you can also do this practice lying down. The one thing to mention about lying down is that it can be hard to stay awake if you're doing a lying down meditation practice. So that's why we like to relax, but yet remain alert. And it's somewhat easier to do that and remain awake while we're sitting up with a straight spine, but yet relax. So, but if you have some physical injury or some pain or sitting's just not available to you, feel free to do this lying down. So we're going to set up now the proper way to just begin to get ready to move into our time of meditation. So we're going to prepare ourselves right now. So I'll invite you to go and find a comfortable place to sit if you're not already in that really comfy spot where you like to do your meditation or get started with your meditation. Again, this can be sitting in a chair or on a couch or on a cushion on the ground, anywhere that feels comfortable. And again, aligning the spine, so lengthening the spine, and then relaxing the shoulders. And then when you found your place to sit, I invite you to close your eyes if you feel comfortable doing so. And if you prefer, you can keep your eyes open with just a soft gaze toward the ground. So just relax. And we begin this meditation session just by taking a few deep breaths. So breathing in deeply and breathing out slowly. Breathing in deeply and breathing out slowly. Let's do that one more time. Breathing in deeply through the nose and breathing out slowly. And then just taking a few moments to rest in this present moment. Just giving yourself permission to be here without having to go anywhere or do anything. Putting down your to-do lists, your agendas, and just allowing yourself to rest. And so setting up a good foundation for meditation, we can just do some body relaxation. The more relaxed we can get our body when we begin, well, it helps to relax the mind as well. And so we'll do this just by checking in with the body. And if we notice any spots of tension or tightness, we can soften, release around those areas. So bringing your awareness to your face. Bring your awareness to your face, and particularly the muscles around your eyes. Seeing if you can soften any tension in those muscles around the eyes. With your awareness there, just feel yourself letting go of any tension around the eyes. And bringing your awareness to the muscles in your jaw and the muscles around your cheeks. Again, just letting go of any unnecessary tension. Softening where you can. And again, just resting. Slowly moving your attention down the neck and the shoulders. Feeling the weight of gravity pulling down on the shoulders gently. In mindfulness meditation, there's really nothing to achieve, nothing to accomplish. So we can just give ourselves that permission each time we sit down, reminding ourselves that there's nowhere we need to get to. Just learning to rest in the present moment. To end this meditation, we can take a deep breath in together, breathing in through the nose and slowly breathing out. And then slowly you can allow your eyes to open and take a moment to take in the room around you, just noticing anything you see or hear. Just notice it without judgment. Take a moment to also notice how you feel. You might notice some calm or relaxation. So this is how we set a good foundation for meditation practice. Learning how to rest in the present moment without needing to get anywhere or experience anything. All right. What I want to do now is to move into a little piece of video that I want to share again. And the video I'm going to share is by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn. Mindfulness has gone very, very, very mainstream. I mean, companies like Google and big corporations have their own in-house mindfulness trainers. That's right. Mindfulness and meditation in the corporate workplace is becoming very, very common. And Dr. John Kabat-Zinn is one of the doctors, one of the practitioners responsible for making this happen. Really over 20 years ago was the genesis of this getting more mainstream. So we're going to hear from Dr. John Kabat-Zinn right now, and he'll share with us the attitudes of mindfulness. And we bring these attitudes, and we're more successful when we bring these attitudes of mindfulness to our meditation time. And here we go.
The cultivation of mindfulness, of moment-to-moment, non-judgmental awareness, is really, it sounds very simple, but it's actually just about the hardest work in the world for human beings, because we get so caught up in our conditioned states of mind. And when we begin to cultivate awareness, it's really important to bring a certain attitudinal approach to it, so that we're not trying to force anything to happen or sit in a kind of rigid posture or attain some special state that will, that we sort of think, that's what it is, I'll be enlightened, or I'll just be permanently wise, or I'll be this, or I'll be that. The problem isn't actually with the enlightenment or the permanently wise or anything like that. The problem is with the personal pronouns, I, me, and mine. And they are very, very problematic, because who we think we are and who we actually are very different. And there's a huge separation. Who we think we are is very, very small compared to who we actually are. And so when we are cultivating mindfulness in MBSR or with people, we encourage a certain kind of attitude that's brought to the formal and informal practices that you can keep in mind through your daily life as well. And these attitudes, there are 7 of them that I put in Full Catastrophe Living when I was writing it, because it really felt like if you start to cultivate acceptance, if you start to cultivate non-striving, if you start to cultivate letting go or letting be, if you start to cultivate trust and patience, that these qualities can be cultivated in everyday life, with your children, with your parents, with your partner or spouse, with your colleagues at work. And so it's a way of reinforcing and deepening the actual formal and informal meditation practices. Beginner's mind is a lovely orientation to bring to the present moment. This moment is always fresh, always new. We've never been in this one before. And yet we bring so many ideas and attitudes and desires to every moment that we can't actually allow ourselves much of the time to see things as if for the first time. Imagine bringing awareness to your children with beginner's mind, so that you actually see them not through your lenses of ideas and opinions about your children, but fresh, the miracle of them, the amazing nature of them. So this is something that we could bring to any moment. It has the virtue of sometimes we're so expert that our minds are just full of our expertise, but it leaves us without any realm for novelty or new possibilities. In the mind of the expert, they say there are very few possibilities, but in the beginner's mind, there are infinite possibilities, because we come to it fresh. So it's a kind of a discipline to try to bring beginner's mind to every aspect of your life, and not be so stuck in our ideas and opinions about how much we like this or don't like that, or what the outcome of a particular situation might be. And when we come to things with this freshness, it actually, again, has tremendous transformative qualities associated with it. And when you bring it to other people, and you're open and spacious with them, and don't insist that they be the way they were half an hour ago or 2 years ago or whatever it is, they feel seen and recognized and met in a way that they might not otherwise experience. That benefits them, and it also benefits us. Non-judging is a very important element of mindfulness practice, and in fact is part of my working definition of mindfulness, which is the awareness that arises through paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. And the non-judgmentally is the real challenge, because when you start to pay attention to what's on your mind, you very rapidly discover that we have ideas and opinions about everything, just about everything. And we're always judging things in terms of, I like that, I don't like that, I want that, I don't want that, this is good, that's bad. And it's like a steady stream of judging. So when we speak of mindfulness as being non-judgmental awareness, it doesn't mean that there won't be judgments. It means that you will be aware of how judgmental we actually are, and then not judge the judging. And when we relate to it in that kind of a way, then we begin to see that our judging is very often black and white. It's either this or that, good or bad, like, dislike, want, don't want. And we get imprisoned by that kind of view. But being non-judgmental doesn't mean that all of a sudden you get stupid and think, well, I'm not going to be judgmental, so I'll just walk out in the street in front of an oncoming truck. What difference does it make? No, it means that we will cultivate discernment. This is the capacity to see what's actually unfolding, but not to judge it, but to recognize it and to understand it in relationship to our experience. So when we speak about non-judgmental awareness, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about a very fine degree of discernment, of clarity, of wisdom, of understanding the interconnections between things, and at the same time, noticing the tendency to judge quite quickly, like, don't like, want, don't want, and to recognize that that actually creates a kind of veil or a filter in front of our eyes that doesn't allow us to see things as they are, but to only see them through the lenses of our own ideas and opinions and likes and dislikes, which is practically blinding to us. So this is a wonderful discipline, the cultivation of awareness of judging and the cultivation of being gently non-judgmental, or not judging the judging that we do discover in ourselves. And over days, weeks, months, and years, we can begin to actually find a way to navigate through our judging in such a way that it no longer dominates our lives in quite the same way. And we recognize when it comes up that it's actually, in some sense, toxic. And the more we challenge it, and the more we rest in discernment and in pure awareness, the more we can live life authentically in the present moment without getting caught by our own habits of mind, unhealthy, if you will, habits of mind. Acceptance is a very active process. There's nothing passive about it. It's not passive resignation, but it's an active recognition that things are actually the way they are. Sometimes they're not the way we want them to be. So acceptance doesn't mean that we can't work to change the world or to change circumstances of one kind or another, but it means that unless we accept things as they are, we will try to force things to be as they are not, and that can create an enormous amount of difficulty. If we recognize the actuality of things, then we have the potential to apply wisdom in that situation to actually shift our own relationship to what is occurring in ways that might be profoundly healing and transformative. But without acceptance of one's situation, then it's very difficult to know where to stand. And without knowing where to stand, it's very difficult to take the first step. So some things are very hard to accept. Like when something, when you experience pain, for instance, and you don't, in your body, and you don't know what it's from. It's very, very difficult to accept it because we want to know what it's coming from. And if we don't have any answer for what is causing the pain, then it can be very, very difficult to accept it. But what we find working with chronic pain patients is that before you can actually work with pain and suffering, you need to actually put out the welcome mat for it and accept it as it is, because whatever has been done medically that could be done has been done, and you're still living with a certain degree of pain. What our people with chronic pain who come to our clinic experience is that there's a lot of different ways to actually work with pain, but the first step is to actually put out the welcome mat for it, which is very hard to do when you're suffering, but it's actually a gateway into freedom from suffering. So that's one of the most powerful ways in which acceptance can be brought to bear on healing and transforming one's life, and is a very, very powerful factor and is a very, very powerful attitude in the cultivation of mindfulness. Letting go, we could think of as the opposite of clinging or grasping. There's a certain way in which when we want something, we grasp it, we cling to it, even if it's an idea. And very often we get very fixated in that kind of a way. Letting go is reminding us that it's possible to actually not get involved in grasping and clinging to what we want and trying to push away what it is that we don't want. Because it's inevitable that things will arise that are unpleasant and we'll want to push those away, and that other things will arise and they'll be pleasant. We'll want to hold on to them. So letting go really means letting be. It means allowing things to be as they are and not be too caught up in having to have them be a certain way when the evidence is they already are not that way. So therefore not forcing. It of course goes with not striving as well, allowing things to be as they are. In India, they sometimes use a particular way of trapping monkeys where they take a coconut and they cut a small hole in one end, and then they tie the coconut with a wire to the base of a tree. And they put a banana inside the coconut, and then the monkeys come down from the trees and they put the hand in the coconut. But the hole is crafted so that if you grasp the banana, you can't get your hand out of the hole. The fist is too big. So you have to let go of the banana to actually release your hand. So the monkeys don't want to let go, and that's how they're trapped. So letting go, or letting things be as they are, means allowing the recognition that when you are caught by your own desire, by your own attachment to things being a certain way, that's painful. But that the letting go is actually the doorway to freedom. And it's something that you don't do once. It's something that you practice over and over and over again, moment by moment by moment. Every time, excuse me, every time you catch yourself clinging to something, you remind yourself it's possible to just let it be and to just let it go. The breath can remind us of that too, because every time we take a deep, because the breath can remind us of that, because every time we take a breath in, we have to let it go. Because otherwise there's no room for the next breath. So it's a natural part of life to receive and then release, receive and let go. Trust is a wonderful attitude to cultivate because there are so many different aspects of our lives that we're kind of strangers to. And as we cultivate intimacy with ourselves, we also cultivate a deep sense of trustworthiness and trust. And a good place to start is with ourselves and with our body. So can we actually come to trust the natural wisdom of the body and how beautifully the body supports our life? We very often take it totally for granted until something untoward happens. But noticing that, you know, in general, we can trust that the breath will take care of itself. Luckily, because if we had to worry about the breath, we would die a long time ago. So we trust that the breath comes in. We trust that the breath goes out. We trust that the ears can actually hear. We trust that the eyes will actually see. We trust that our organs take care of all of the metabolism and biology of being alive. There's a wisdom to the body that can remind us that we ourselves are trustworthy. And if there are so many beautiful things and so complex that are unfolding so beautifully in the body, well, why should the mind be any different? Why should the heart be any different? So the more we can learn to bring trust to ourselves, the more we can actually learn to bring trust to our relationships and to other people and to nature and to the various challenges that we face in life, so that we can actually reside in our own confidence in our own ability to meet whatever comes towards us in ways that can be effective. It's all based on trusting ourselves, and that's something that can be cultivated by practice. So every time we don't trust ourselves, we can bring awareness to it and remind ourselves that maybe this is a good opportunity to shift from really feeling like we're not able to trust something to actually trusting it when it's in ourselves. When it involves other people, it gets a little bit more complicated because you don't want to trust naively, but other wisdom factors will help us to take care of that. I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of times I find that I'm impatient to get to the next important thing happening, and so missing the present moment because of my impatience. So to actually intentionally cultivate patience and a kind of recognition that things unfold in their own way, and that in some profound way, things cannot be hurried. So when we're always rushing to get someplace else, the byproduct of that is that we're never where we actually are, which is a tremendous sadness and a tremendous loss. Sometimes we're impatient with other people, sometimes we're impatient at work, sometimes we're impatient to get things done. But this wisdom of patience is something that is also profoundly healing and restorative, and is akin to recognizing, as some children don't, when they, for instance, try to make the butterfly come out before its time from the chrysalis, that certain things can't be hurried, but things do unfold in their own time. So if we actually learn to be patient with ourselves, then we're inhabiting the present moment in ways that have great comfort and great profundity of both acceptance and wisdom associated with them. In the cultivation of meditative awareness or mindful awareness, we take the unusual position for Westerners to actually not try to get anywhere else. This is what we call non-striving or even non-doing, to actually allow things to be held in awareness without having to operate on them, without having to make anything happen or try to experience some special state of either relaxation or well-being or anything, but to simply be with the unfolding of life from moment to moment without any agenda whatsoever. It turns out this is tremendously healing, tremendously restorative for us too, because we have so many agendas and we're always on the way to some better moment in the future or trying to escape from something in the past. But to actually be in a place where we're practicing non-striving and non-doing, where we just let things be as they are, is, as I said, tremendously nurturing and healing. Not easy to do because we have so many different so many different items on our to-do list. So the longer your to-do list, the longer we should give ourselves some time to practice non-doing altogether and non-striving, realizing that whatever is already here is good enough. Even if it's not pleasant in this moment, it's enough. And we don't need to try to escape from it or fix it or make anything happen. It's a tremendous discipline, a tremendous attitude to bring to life. And it doesn't mean you won't get things done. On the contrary, it means that whatever doing you do will wind up coming out of being, and therefore much greater wisdom and much greater appropriateness to the situation. Now, people often ask me, well, why did you stop at 7? And I say, I don't know. I mean, I just stopped at 7, but I left out a few that I really probably am going to put in the next edition. And one of them would be gratitude. To bring gratitude to the present moment because, well, say, for one thing, just we're alive. We take that so much for granted. A little gratitude, wow. The body's working, I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out, my eyes work, my feet work, if, the liver is working, the kidneys are working. I mean, we take so much for granted. So in that sense, the 7 attitudes are a way to remind us of that, and gratitude really should be in that list. Another one would be generosity. A sense of how powerful it is when you give yourself over to life and that you give other people what would make them happy. Not for yourself, not so that you can pat yourself on the back and say, I am a generous person, but because it gives joy to others. It enhances interconnectedness. You demonstrate that you care and that you are actually giving some time and attention and thought to someone other than yourself. So both gratitude and generosity, I think, should be included in that list. I could go on, but I think that 9 would be enough. It's hard to keep more than 9 things in mind at any one time. And of course, they're all completely interconnected, so you don't have to actually remember any of it. If you are practicing non-striving, then everything else is embedded in that, except is embedded in I'm sorry, acceptance is embedded in that, generosity is embedded in that, gratitude is embedded in that, trust is embedded in that, and so forth. So any one of these attitudes is a door into all of them. And that's why they really are forming, in some sense, just different ways of understanding what mindfulness is really about. And I probably should say that in all Asian languages, the word for mind and the word for heart are the same word. So in English, when you hear the word mindfulness, if you're not hearing the word heartfulness, you're really not understanding it fully. And so those attitudes are really part of the heartfulness element of it. Whether it's seeing things as they actually are, the most profound thing you can see is the interconnectedness of all things. As soon as you see that, then emotions like anger, for instance, are very different because, or fear for that matter, are really transformed in some way because of our interconnectedness. So it's a way of seeing other people as they really are and not necessarily seeing them as threats, and then being able to find some domain of commonality that comes out of the heart, that comes out of the head, that comes out of the body, that comes out of life as one completely integrated whole.
Okay, I am back. And there you have, it's so important to share that in this foundational introductory course to mindfulness. And as have taken a dive deeper and deeper and deeper to this body of knowledge and this material and reading some different books, such as A Clinician's Guide to Teaching Mindfulness and so much other material that I have been operating and working with, the list goes on because other authors and other doctors and other practitioners add to there. So my list is growing as well. It's really up to 13. We have John Kabat-Zins and some of the other mental health professionals and care providers adding to it. So we have beginner's mind, non-judging, acceptance, non-striving, letting go, letting be, patience, trust, gratitude, generosity, curiosity. Curiosity is a good one to bring to mindfulness, kindness, compassion, and humor. So we want to keep these in mind, especially the non-judgment, present moment awareness without judgment. I want to remind you that if you have any questions or comments that you would like to make, I know that you're watching this on a recording right now, but go to our private Facebook group. That's in the email where you receive this, and make some comments. I'll have this video posted within the group, so you can go right underneath it and make some comments, some questions, what you got out of this. I really want you to participate in that. This will also tell me if all the time and effort that I'm putting into this is reaching you and reaching your ears, and if you're learning and growing through this practice and moving deeper, transforming into a more peaceful, aware existence. We're going to do one more meditation to wrap things up here. Let me stop my video. I am going to share again. Hopefully I can do this correctly and find everything that I want to share. So bear with me here. Oh, that's the end of the last one, which is okay. And I'm going to go, and we're going to do this together here, okay? All right, here we go.
mindfulnessexercises.com. 3 mindful breaths. Let's begin by taking a moment just to settle your body in a comfortable position. You can be standing, sitting, or lying down. Just inviting a sense of ease and relaxation in the body, feeling comfortable, with the intention to bring awareness and alertness to the physical sensations of your body. Can you feel the weight of your body on the ground or your chair? The points of contact with the earth or whatever is underneath you. Noticing sounds around you move through your ears. Noticing any smells. Bringing awareness to the sensations of breathing through your nose or your mouth. And as you breathe, see if you can relax your belly and your chest. Seeing if you can loosen any tension, softening any tightness, and allowing yourself to breathe full, deep breaths. Inviting a sense of ease in your belly and your chest as you let go of any tension. Dropping your shoulders, softening your hands and the muscles of your face. Just feeling a sense of ease as you breathe. Noticing the physical sensations around your body. What does it feel like to be breathing in this moment? The sensations of each inhale and exhale. And today we're going to practice 3 mindful breaths. Begin by taking a slow, gentle inhale, resting your attention on the sensation of the air passing through your nostrils, filling your chest and abdomen. Notice the inhale ends and shifts back through a gentle exhale. Notice the sensations in the body as the air passes back out. Rest for a moment and begin again. Long, slow inhale, directing your attention to the sensation of the air as you breathe in. And the long, slow exhale, noticing the sensations as the air passes out. Noticing the air move in and out. Wonderful. What did that feel like? If you had to describe the sensations of breathing in those moments to somebody, how would you describe it? What temperature was the air? How long was each exhale? Was there a sense of ease? Or a sense of trying to do it right? What was that experience like for you? Over time, you'll be building your concentration as well as a sense of kind curiosity, where you're able to stay present with a sense of openness. Just noticing all of the physical sensations as well as how your mind relates to your experience. So don't worry if you felt like you didn't get this right or if you felt like this was boring. Those are completely natural reactions. But if this provided a sense of ease for you, I invite you to try this again and again. In the coming weeks, we'll be exploring different ways of bringing mindfulness to the breath as well as to the body to build embodied awareness, sense of confidence, and also kindness for ourselves and others.